How do you choose the right logistics leadership training? I'm Greg Schenkel, President of Unique Training and Development and Frontline Leadership Systems. And in this Leader Feeder, we want to look at how you go about choosing the best logistics leadership training. The myth, of course, is that people learn the same way all the time and that the training is going to be just a commodity, and you could go with almost any training and it would be just as effective as any other. Now, the fact is that 70% of learning actually doesn't even happen in a classroom. It happens in the day-to-day experiences that people have on the shop floor, and they learn from those by trying things. 20%, of course, of your learning comes through feedback and greater self-awareness, and 10% comes from the formal training itself. Now, we had one equipment manufacturer who partnered with us to train their supervisors, and they, of course, wanted lots of topics covered in the initial wave of the training, and we obliged that by doing our consolidated program in a fairly intensive format. But then after that, we said, let's actually do the training and connect it to the daily work that the supervisors implement on the shop floor, and help them to practice those kinds of conversations that they will be having in real life after the training program. Now, by focusing on specific challenges that the supervisors were having and having them actually practice those situations, the training became much more valuable to the learners and therefore valuable to the company because people actually put it into action. So I've got a few tips for making sure that you are choosing the right leadership training for logistics leaders. Tip number one is focus on the essentials. Now, in the end, leadership training can include a whole lot of optional topics, and there's always buzzword topics that companies are interested in having their people learn. But when you distill it down, the most basic topics are around how do I communicate and interact with people in a respectful way? How do I motivate them, including multiple generations? And then how do I mitigate and deal with conflict situations so that we can get some constructive benefit from those? So those would be focusing on the essentials. Tip number two is to practice realistically. Role plays and practicing isn't always a favorite thing of the participants, but being able to interact on situations that they really encounter and being able to see whether they're doing it the right way and how to do it even better, that's very valuable from a training perspective. So practice realistically. And the third and final tip is to apply and share the successes. In the end, some people will grasp onto new leadership capabilities more quickly than others. And so if you can get them together, even in small groups, and have them share how they've been able to apply the training content, that can help motivate the person beside them who might be more reluctant to try it. But when they hear their colleagues say how great it worked for them, they'll be even more inspired and motivated to try those new things. So having those leadership conversations after the training can really help. And of course, we measure a lot of those things using our state-of-the-art leadership or leader behavior builder system, where people set commitments to put certain ideas into action. And then if those supervisors or managers of those participants have conversations with them, they can help pollinate and propagate that learning to other people. Of course, developing the leadership of your team, the leadership capabilities of your team, and especially around choosing the right logistics leadership training, that all starts with a conversation. And you can reach out to us on our website at uniquedevelopment.com, and we can have a conversation about how we can deliver frontline leadership in English, in Spanish, and even in French, so that your team can get the right leadership message no matter where they're located. And we can do that in person, on site, virtually, and now even on demand so that they can learn at their own pace. So reach out to us at uniquedevelopment.com. I look forward to having a conversation with you on how we can partner for leadership excellence.